So a couple of weeks ago on the vlog, I gave a couple of posing tips for Instagram photos. And I thought today on the vlog, I would expound on that a little bit and give a full guide, like a step-by-step on how I take Instagram photos. So I started Instagram probably about 3 years ago now. I had like, you know, 300 followers or whatnot.
It was just all of your friends.
Yeah, it was just all of my friends. And Kane and I were trying desperately to start our own business. So we decided to try and take a couple of photos for Instagram. And I remember this so vividly because I was at the time a full-time lawyer, but I went on a holiday to Barcelona and I got my first ever camera, and it was a Sony RX100. Now, that was a Mark II, I think then.
It was either the 1 or the 2. I think it was the 2.
It was an early days Sony RX100, and now I use the Mark V. So I have literally used the Sony RX100 range since the day I started Instagram. And the super exciting thing about that is Sony just reached out and actually asked to sponsor this video. So yes!
Finally, it just took 3 years for them to notice.
I know. So that's super exciting because literally like 80% of the photos on my Instagram have been taken with the Sony RX100 range. So I thought it would be really cool to show you guys how I use the camera and what we do to create those photos. So the first thing I think about when I'm getting ready to do an Instagram photo is styling the subject. So you got to think about what is your subject. For most of us, my Instagram, the subject is me. Sometimes Kane makes an appearance.
If she's lucky.
But that's probably the same thing for you guys. So you kind of have to think about your outfit first. So from a styling perspective, the best tip I can give is a pop of color really grabs people's attention. So if you scroll through my feed, you see that a lot of the time I choose like a red dress or an orange dress or something bright yellow, because I know when people are scrolling through their feed, a pop of color is gonna make them stop and have a look.
Some of Pia's best photos that have like the most amount of engagement and likes and whatnot, they're always red dresses. I don't know why, but people like the color red.
But if you do want to go with a monochromatic look like I have done today, then I suggest you put a little bit of effort into your accessories. So I'm trying to take a photo of this blouse today, for example. I've teamed it with some black jeans, very monochromatic, but teaming it with like a bag, some bangles, and then some pretty extra sunnies.
They are ridiculous, those sunnies.
Are they?
I mean, they're just huge.
I love them. So all of a sudden you have like quite a styled outfit that I think will really grab people's attention. So once your subject is nicely styled and ready to rumble,
debatable,
the next thing you got to do is go and find a location. So Kane and I sometimes even spend a full day just driving around town and scouting nice locations like cafes, beaches, cool trees, anything like that.
Yeah, we always drop pins in Google Maps. So for example, I've got a stack of pins all across Bali, so when we go back, I know the best places to get the waterfall shot or the mountain shot or the whatever shot I need to get. So it's kind of handy just to have that in the back of your mind that whenever you see something good, drop a pin on the map and then you've got it for future reference.
So I like shooting at places like cafes.
Because Pia's addicted to donuts.
Not donuts, but coffee maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
Because, you know, you can get a coffee, you can get a bit of a prop, and if it's a cute cafe, then it's an interesting, warm kind of background. It makes sense to take a photo.
Thanks, you too. See you later.
This looks cute.
This is very nice. Pia may have chosen a Insta-worthy location.
Shot.
Done. Let's go home.
Let's do a little 360 of the place. Oh, look at that side.
Oh, it's so nice, hey.
Okay, so we found a super cool location. This is like so Instagram worthy. But here is a little bit like in direct sunlight, so I feel like that's a little bit harsh for the look I'm going for. So the next tip is lighting. So you can either do like a shot in direct sunlight, but obviously I'm a little squinty right now, so sunnies come in very handy. Or one thing I like to do is stand under the shade looking out into the sunlight. So let's see if we can find something like that.
I actually think this bit would work quite well. So you see here, like it's all daytime and it's quite harsh lighting. But under here, because we've got an awning, everything looks great. It's a really nice shot. I know it looks like Pia's just dancing, but she is actually like, because we're shooting bursts, there's always going to be a good shot somewhere in there.
And I actually really love movement on my Instagram, so I genuinely laugh out loud to get a laughing face.
It's very weird.
I know. And you know, I move around and everything, but the great thing with this camera is that Kane can just burst it, and so many of the shots are like, oh, but then like there'll be some in there that are just that perfect little split of a second that's the exact angle and shape that you want.
Yeah, it works better when she's wearing like big flowing dresses, because then she can walk and then wind can kind of get up into the clothing, but because we're bursting, like, you get those perfectly flowing fabric shots, and it's actually really nice.
Yeah, and the great thing is, even when he's holding it down and bursting it, every shot is still perfectly in focus, because there's incredible face detection on this camera, so it knows exactly where you are. You don't have to like hold it down halfway and then re-push, you know, to like get the shot in focus.
It's actually brilliant.
One of my favorite things about this camera is the flip up screen. So there's Kane, this is what I see.
Now I've got a suck in my belly.
So I use the flip up screen all the time. The first thing that I use it for is to find the right lighting. So I can literally find it so easily by just flipping this up, and like, honestly, you do this and you just like, find the light, find the light. So here I would probably get a bit of this umbrella in the background. I've got myself a little party prop for my selfie.
Pia doesn't need an excuse to buy a coconut.
I know, everywhere I go there's so many coconuts on my Instagram. But essentially, this flip up screen gives me all the visibility I need. So I can see what the background looks like, I can see myself, and you know what the great thing is about it? Because it flips up rather than to the side, my eyes are directly above the lens, which makes them look a little bit more open and awake, like bright-eyed. Whereas I notice a lot of girls, their screens flip to the side.
Yeah, and then you're looking here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right.
The photos are like off to the side a little bit. Like their eyeline is like, doesn't make sense.
No.
So with this one being right above, you just always look like you're directly looking at your audience, but you're just super bright-eyed and awake. So the other great thing to mention is when you do flip the screen up, it basically goes into selfie mode. So it gives you an automatic 3-second timer. So you can kind of like have a little second to get your look together and get your pose going, and it like counts down for you. The photo, I usually shoot in one of two modes. Either aperture priority, which allows me to make the background really nice and blurry and make the subject of the photo pop out of the screen a little bit. Or honestly, half the time, most of the time, I pretty much just shoot in auto mode, because to be honest, this camera knows what I want more than I know what I want.
I don't think you're meant to admit that.
Auto's good. Okay, so we had some lunch and got a bunch of photos, and now I have them on my camera, but I don't have a laptop on me. So a lot of the time we're finding ourselves on the go, we're traveling, and we don't have like a laptop with a memory card slot. But the great thing is I can literally send these photos to my phone and edit them in Lightroom on here. I actually find it really easy to flick through and select my favorite one directly on the phone, because realistically I'm selecting a photo for Instagram, so I want to find something that looks good on a small screen.
Well, and also people are going to view it on an iPhone or an Android screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to kind of make sure that it works with that device, because that's where people are going to see it finally.
Exactly. So I just go through and I favorite a few, takes me a little while to narrow them down, and then I just drop them into Lightroom to edit. All right, so with this image I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna up the exposure, and then I really want the whites to pop. I'm gonna make a little bit of a warm tropical vibe here. And then I just wanna add a little bit of saturation to make me look more tanned. So the one thing I really love about this setup is that everything fits in my handbag. So I always have on me the tools I need to basically do my job. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This photo is now ready to post. All I have to do is later tonight, I'm gonna log into Instagram, upload it. Now, before I post it in the Instagram app itself, I like to put a little bit of extra sharpening on it, just so it looks really nice and crisp. And then, you know, there you go, there's my photo. So if you liked this video, please go and check out my photo that I post and let me know that you watched this video.
And also follow me because I took the photo.
Yeah.